Yeah, we're down. Yes, sir. That's fine, Sheriff. Come on. You're halfway.
In Texas, the ports are the economic lifeline driving one of the biggest states in the country. So big, they now account for nearly 25% of all waterborne commerce in the United States. On any given day, billions of dollars of cargo is imported and exported on some of the largest ships in the world, often in close proximity to other vessels, people, and irreplaceable natural resources. To maintain this delicate balance, a special type of mariner is needed. Their skills are unparalleled, and their local knowledge of the waterways they work on every day is second to none. For over a century, the harbor pilots of the state of Texas have been doing just that. The challenges they face in each of the state's deepwater ports may vary, and yet their commitment up and down the Texas coastline remains the same: protect the waterways and the people of Texas.
Every port in the state of Texas has a local pilot that helps efficiently maneuver vessels in and out of those local waters 365 days a year, 24/7.
We go aboard a ship 10 miles offshore, climb up a rope ladder. We're usually the first U.S. citizens, first Americans aboard these foreign flag ships, and then we bring the ships up to the berth. Just reverse sailing, we go aboard a ship at the dock. We'll take it out to sea and climb down the rope ladder to get off.
The crews of the ships basically get the ship from one deep water point to another. Whenever they get near the coast, anywhere around the world, they're required to take a local pilot that is trained specifically for that area.
These people, although they might be experienced in their own vessel, it doesn't necessarily mean that they can translate that to a narrow, confined waterway. When it comes down to the real narrow areas, that's our expertise.
There's no one that knows a waterway better than a state pilot. We travel these waters several times a day.
Typically, you have a career at sea. You've either come up through the ranks, you've worked up on a harbor tug or a towboat, or you've gone through an academy or what have you. So you've had this whole career at sea. And based on your performance at sea or on the harbor tugs, you're asked to interview.
Port-specific training, I mean, it's training specific to this port.
Another important thing to know about the Texas harbor pilots is that they serve as independent contractors, commissioned by the governor. This autonomy allows them to operate in a way that puts the interest of the people above all else.
We're commissioned here by the governor of Texas to protect the natural resources of the general populace of here in Texas without additional cost to the taxpayer.
We don't work for the ship. We don't work for the ship owner. We don't work for the customer or the cargo that's carrying or the customer where the vessel's going. We're an independent contractor, if you will, and we're able to make the decision in the cutoff.
That independence is what helps us make those decisions without fear of any commercial repercussions. That's our first and foremost consideration, is safety and protecting the waterway.
Because over 600 million tons of cargo is being moved in and out of Texas ports every year, a shutdown of any kind would be devastating, not only to the state, but the entire country. That's why the top priority of each and every harbor pilot in the state of Texas is safety.
Today there's zero tolerance for any accidents, so we have to be very precise. We're moving $100 million ships with $100 million worth of cargo on board, some of it very hazardous. If a mistake is made, it could be catastrophic for the entire area.
We get a wide variety of ships and sizes. Crude oil in the past has been a big import for the Port of Freeport. Now that the distribution system of crude oil is changing, it looks like we're going to become more of an exporter of crude oil and refined products.
We do jet fuel, We do wood pellets, we have pet coke, grain, military cargo. I think we're the #1 military outloading port here for the United States.
This port here is the 4th largest port in the United States. It's the #1 military outload port in the United States. It's the #1 crude oil destination for crude oil tankers in the United States.
You don't know what type of vessel you're going to get on just by name alone. When you get out there, it could be a tanker, a bulk carrier, a cruise ship. You just have to be mentally prepared for anything.
Each port is unique in its own way. Matagorda Bay, we have some of the strongest currents in the country.
Some of the unique things about Freeport is the fact that it's a very short passage from sea to the dock, but it's punctuated with some sharp turns in the channel.
The most unique aspect of Galveston and Texas City is that we share a common waterway with the Port of Houston.
The first turn we negotiate is a 43-degree turn, and we have 3 different channels dumping in there, so you have eddies working different currents, and with certain winds and tides, depending on if it's a flood tide, ebb tide, you have a variable of different maneuvers you have to be ready for to overcome the currents and the wind in that particular turn.
Houston is, we're a challenging port. We have a narrow waterway with a lot of users.
And if there's ever a threat that comes in by sea, foreign or domestic, these pilots serve as the first line of defense.
Pilots, the first Americans that a foreign crew lays eyes on when they get to the port.
We go on board and we can make an assessment, and the assessment covers, it's just intuitive. You can look and you can see, do these people speak very good English? Can they communicate well? Is their ship up to standard? You can just, by just walking from the deck to the bridge, you can see what kind of maintenance their ship has.
And we can pick up on certain aspects of a vessel's operation, whether it's just a safety issue or there's something else maybe more sinister there in play.
Every year, the Texas Harbor Pilots are responsible for the movement of tens of thousands of vessels across the state. Their ability to provide safe passage in the channels and their reputation for efficiency and customer service is hard-earned and widely known by companies around the globe.
Our association is responsible for the level of trade and the flow of trade.
I think in Texas, we all pride ourselves on being very customer-oriented and working with our customers.
We interact with industry on a daily basis. There's always something that comes up. They want to do this or we want to do that. Any new construction, they'll call us in.
During our decision and our planning process to build the regas facility, we work closely with the pilots to ensure that our ship's berth and our adjacent maneuvering areas were designed to maintain efficiency and safety for ship handling operations.
They listen to us and they provide solutions.
We have a huge impact. Most people don't realize the amount or the impact that we have in this area. You know, as far as billions of dollars moving through here.
Nearly 1 million jobs just in Texas alone, and I think about $480 million a day come in and out of the Port of Houston.
In our port, for instance, we handle practically 500 arrivals, 1,000 jobs a year.
$388 million in local revenue is generated through this port.
On any given day, we're handling thousands and thousands of tons of trade that make a difference when the people are looking at things like the price of gasoline, the price of oil.
2 or 3 days of fogged-in weather actually will cause a spike on the oil exchange, and Wall Street will wonder what's going on in Freeport, Texas.
It does have a significant impact. We want to make sure it operates 24 hours a day, as safely and as efficiently as possible.
Deeply involved in everything that happens in the ports and revered for their knowledge of the waterways up and down the coast, the Texas Harbor Pilots remain critical to the future of the ports. By raising the bar on safety And with the amount and size of traffic increasing every year, these pilots will play an increasingly critical role. Day in and day out, from Brownsville to Port Arthur, the Texas Harbor pilots are moving our commerce, protecting our ports, and safeguarding our windows to the world.